I don't understand it. I don't think the majority of college kids understand what it takes to do what you do and throw a successful festival. What goes into logistics that the average person wouldn't know?
Oh man, it is taking your head and slamming it against the wall a trillion times until you get an answer. But I'll give you a spot on example of how this stuff kind of wraps up. And it would actually happen this year, something I was dealing with for 5 to 6 months out of this calendar year. And so, we have a fantastic event in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was, in my mind, a 10 out of 10, had, 7,000 attendees. Everyone was so happy, pictures all over the place, branding existed. Everyone does what we love to say, which is, they thawed out. And because that's what it is. It's celebrating the end of spring and this being outside and getting to spend a full day with all of your friends, with every single person. You look to the left and right of you, it's your friends. And
You're getting me fired up right now. It's like a
exactly.
great
Well,
ass
that's what it's
time.
about. But, so we have this wonderful event, right? And the venue that we had it at didn't want to have us back. They said, hey, look, you guys had way too much foot traffic. We don't believe our grass is going to be able to maintain the level of crowds that you intend to bring. You can't have the event back here. And that took them up until October to say. So we have the event May 3rd or May 4th. We have the event May 4th, 2024. We enter new negotiations, get a deal done. I've signed the contract. I send it back to them, and they don't sign it and send it back. I'm like, okay, something's going on. What's up? So we give a couple phone calls. I press emergency. I tell them like, hey, this has to be signed by, X time, or we're just going to proceed like you aren't doing this with us. To which I was hoping I would just get a signed piece of paper and that people were taking some time, but that actually was not the case. They came back and they said, due to the crowds that you're intending to bring, this is just something we cannot have at our venue. And that's where I'm just like, whoa, okay. I have this product that I spent a lot of time, effort, and capital on to build that now has no home. And I am 9 months away from this event. And what am I going to do? So it started with printing out um, all of Knoxville, Tennessee, and drawing a circle, 20-minute radius. So you can drive by car, 20-minute radius to a new site. That was realistically about 10 to 15 hours of work while running another business, calling these 10 to 15 hours a day, calling just anything that matters. So, like, you'd see a plot of land and you think it might work, they get a phone call again and again and again and again. Throughout that process, I was probably told no. I'd have to say 1,000 times, probably more. Just calling a business, calling a parking lot, calling a farm, calling anyone you could, calling real estate agents. In that time, I had one deal that I thought was going to go through, went all the way through negotiations with them. They're actually an event venue, offered them anything you could have thought they could have wanted. They were going to make so much money out of it. I was actually the one who's getting the short end of the stick, but I was willing to do it for the event to exist. Flew down there, got them an agreement ready to go, and same thing. They didn't sign it. So then I entered the same situation that I was in, but with less time. And now I have about a month and a half to find a new venue. And just repeating that process again, but drawing the circle out just a little bit further. Okay, now we're going to go to 25 minutes and just calling again and again and again till somebody finally said, yes, we're happy to host you, and, let's have a great event. But that's just like a snippet of, one of the many logistical issues you can run into. And it's just not freaking out, staying
Yeah.
true. And, I ended up locking in the venue that we have now. I locked that in 1.5 days before I had to put in all my alcohol permits. So if we did not lock in that venue when we did, event would not have happened. And, it's,
Holy shit.
yeah, no, it was crazy. It was a crazy time. Like tons, you want to talk about like dealing with like anxiety and stuff like that. It's like every single night you go to bed just thinking like, wow, like I work so hard. I spent all this money on a product. Like we have to find an answer. We have to find an answer. And that's really what it's always from. It's just there are a lot of problems that arise and you have to just focus on solutions based rather than letting fear kind of just run your way. Cause, if I spent 2-3 hours less on that project and 2-3 hours more complaining and being upset, I might not have found that location.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Somewhere on the screen should direct you to somewhere else in our channel. But as always, believe foolishly.